At the beginning of the year, I made a video pretty much replying to comments of things that I think Smash players get wrong about fighting games, and as promised, I want to talk about the opposite, what I think fighting game players get wrong about Smash. So I have a small list of things that just from being in the community, hearing people talk, I definitely know people get this wrong. So for my Smash friends, this one is for you. This video is brought to you by Control. How do you feel about breaking up with junk food and having a better relationship with healthier stuff? So Control is like a protein shake, like a meal replacement, super tasty. My personal favorite to this day has been the cinnamon toast flavor personally. If you're in a festive mood, you have both strawberry as an option or the cocoa crunch. Get some protein with your Valentine's Day chocolate. Not only that, but shakes are not your only option. You can get protein cookies and protein bars. If you watch me on stream, you always see me munching on protein and stuff, so I'm a huge fan of them. And if you go to Drink Control, so drinkctrl.com/LordKnight, you can get 10% off your order. So go there, and thank you so much to Control for sponsoring this video. So we have to start with the lingo. So you might know if you play Smash or if you play fighting games, if you're from the outside watching this, to you, both Smash and like Street Fighter, they're both fighting games. You'd be like, why do they have these wars over these games? For the more hardcore community, Smash is considered like a platform fighter, and games like Street Fighter, Tekken, the game I played, Guilty Gear, are considered traditional fighters, and these groups are quite separate. The only reason you even see people together is either they cross the aisle, so people like me, Leffen would be another example. There's plenty of players who've gone from Smash to traditional fighters and do well. Or something that started happening, maybe I want to say when Melee came back, was that both traditional fighting game tournaments like EVO and CEO and Combo Breaker, but also big Smash tournaments like Apex back in the day or Genesis that just happened, they'll host the other games. So Genesis had like Guilty Gear and Tekken, for example, and EVO used to run Smash. And because of this, people from both sides would hear the lingo and people would just be like, what is going on? So for example, since I started Smash, to me, when I hear like, oh, you're going to a Smash Fest, right? That doesn't mean anything, right? Just, oh, you're going over to your boy's place, you're gonna play some Smash Bros with your friends, practice for a tournament, whatever. But I mean, especially in 2024, this Smash Fest sounds a little sus, right? As far as the lingo, it really is just people, like just different groups of people developing their language of like what the game is and how they're going to communicate. The biggest one really is about how it seems that people name things like after themselves, or they have like really weird names for stuff. And frankly, I think it's just because Melee is kind of a jank game, even though it's like a cool game. Melee just, like, the game has evolved so much from what it was like day one, December 2001. So that's why it feels like there's so much random terminology for the game. Not only is it this pretty old, it's more than 20 years old, which is older than some people who are playing the game, playing some fighting games in general, but they need titles for everything. Where fighting games, since there's so many of them, everything kind of transfers over. There's some differences between like notations. So a really common one is like a lot of the anime fighters, like the one I play, we use numpad notation. So if you have a keypad or like a calculator or something, you can look at it. You have like 5 in the middle, 1, 2, 3 on the bottom, 7, 8, 9 on the top, and the numbers on your numpad are the directions on a controller. So 2 is down, 6 is forward, 8 is up, right? But if you play Tekken or Mortal Kombat, the number is a button. So you'll hear Mortal Kombat players be like down 1 or like down forward 2 and stuff like that. So that was kind of weird when I was getting into Injustice for the first time, for example. But for the most part, everyone kind of uses really similar terms in fighting games because people just hop back and forth between games. Where Smash, they just were in their own bubble for so long, so they didn't use the same terms that traditional fighting game players use. So the second thing is actually the need for power rankings. So I actually started playing Melee when the concept of power rankings even started. This is like way back. So you're talking about like MLG days, I want to say. So around like 2006, 2007, that's where all these state power rankings were starting. If you ask a fighting game player, they would be like, what is the point of this? And to be fair, they do have a good point, because I feel like I always thought in Smash, I don't really feel like this is a huge thing in fighting games, but from my memory in playing Smash, this was always a thing of people were always trying to find a way to be the best thing they could be in their way. So like a pretty lazy example would be like how someone's like, oh, I'm the best Potemkin player in my house or something like that, right? So the state power rankings were really cool. That makes sense. It put some stakes and stuff. You know, some of the bigger cities have their own power rankings. So like there was a Philadelphia power ranking on top of a Pennsylvania power ranking, for example, in my case. So what's the point of power rankings? One, like I said, stakes. But two, there was also this discussion of when sponsors started coming in, they needed a way for sponsors to know like who was worth picking up, essentially. That was like the original reason I heard being passed around why the rankings mattered so much. So once like a bunch of esports teams started coming in, it was really easy to get the #1 player in the world, the #3 player in the world, the #5 player in the world. In fighting games, you don't really have that because we have these cycles of new games coming out all the time, right? And starting, I want to say starting around like 2015 is when you really started having these like tours, publisher-backed tours coming in. So then you would just have the leaderboard for the year. You don't need a state power ranking when Capcom is like, this dude has like the 5th most points on Earth. So boom, that's your ranking going into the final. Number 3 is contrary to popular belief, because this comes up a lot when we talk about the difference between Smash and traditional fighting games. Smash has combos. I know it sounds really silly, but like when people talk about like Smash, the difference between Smash and fighting games, there was always this thing about like, man, fighting games have these dial of combos when you just hit them and like you just do your combo and you can't get out. Like mechanics like combo breakers, like Killer Instinct, literal combo breaker, burst, reduce damage, all aside, right? Generally when you get hit in a fighting game, you kind of just get hit. So you get hit by whatever combo that you could possibly get. Some games you don't get to combo all your stuff. There's all these different rules. The way people talk about Smash combos, they'll have you believe you can just get out of everything, but that's not true. Like there are guaranteed combos. There's stuff you can't get out of. They call them like true combos, guaranteed combos, whatever. All the directional influence system does in these cases just makes it so that like if the player playing you is not like that great, then you can get out. But if you're playing against someone good, they're going to punish you really, really, really hard. And the level of this has gone up quite a bit because now there's like actual training mode in Smash. Like there was no training mode. I should say there's no training mode. The Smash training mode is just kind of dog, you know. Like in traditional fighters right now, people get mad when there's like no frame data and stuff. So imagine booting up Ultimate or Melee for the first time and like this, it's just bad. You could do stuff in slow motion. I guess that's cool, but there's nothing really there. So I am pretty surprised at how often this thing of like, yeah, in Smash you just get out of combos. Brawl doesn't count. Brawl is just, you know, its own thing, but like especially when you're talking about Melee, like in Ultimate 2, like it's not super common that you bombo people. It's definitely a character specific thing, but in Melee, especially like you get comboed. I don't know, and 64 too. Like in 64 that's literally just a combo game. So I don't know. The next thing I want to talk about is Smash tournaments in general. So unfortunately, I mean, maybe it's deserved, but Smash tournaments have a pretty bad reputation between people, the Smash players uniform, as I call it. But to be fair, there's also a fighting game players uniform, to be fair. Think of like a guy in a hoodie, pajama pants, MLG zip baggy, but it's probably like a thing now, maybe like a Nintendo branded one or something like that. Maybe wearing flip-flops, I don't know. Also, people constantly memeing about the smell. I'm really sorry, you know. So you can say in the comments if it's warranted, but at least the reputation is there. There's also the VIP rooms. When the first time I heard a fighting game player hear about VIP rooms at Smash tournaments, they're like, dude, how badly do Smash players glaze their top players that they have a VIP only section? But hear me out. I feel like there's not only a lot of good ideas of how to run tournaments from Smash tournaments, but some of the things that we enjoy at fighting game tournaments are ideas from Smash. So one of the biggest ones is something that I actually covered in a video pretty recently. I really want to say this is from Smash. If I'm wrong, definitely let me know. But I really felt like they got this from Smash, was the idea of 3 people getting out of a bracket instead of 2. So let me explain. So when you're at a big tournament, the way they make big tournaments run quickly is they drop you into pools, right? So normally what happens is that one winner goes out and one loser comes out. But the original Dark Souls boss of a fighting game tournament is the person you lost to earlier. So what would happen is, let's say I'm the top seed and LordKnight is there, and then you, the person who's watching, is also there, right? So LordKnight beats you, I beat LordKnight, he drops in the losers, right? You gotta play LordKnight again, you lose to the same person twice. So the original challenge of a fighting game major is beating that guy that the top seed beat. because he's gonna beat you twice. That's the original annoying ass skill check, double jeopardy, right? At some point, I want to say around 2017 or so, I think Combo Breaker was the first tournament that started testing this, but tournaments started testing this idea of 3 people get out. So 1 winner and 2 losers, so that the chances of double jeopardy are greatly reduced. And I'm just gonna say, I'm pretty sure they got this from Smash. I'm really certain they got this from Smash. Another thing is Start.gg, the tournament website. So there used to be a bunch of tournament websites. There was I think it was called Tio. There was a tournament program you could download called Tio. I don't remember if a fighting game player made that or a Smash player made that. There was Challenge, which some people still use, like an online bracket runner. And right now there's Start.gg. But Start.gg used to be Smash.gg, made by Smasher. That's probably like the main tournament bracket website that people use to, as a platform for the tournament, registration, all these things. VIP rooms, while it has a terrible name, and especially because, the energy of, you can have this debate if you want, but definitely I super looked up to people for a long time, especially when I was starting in Melee. I used to have a reputation in fighting games for just like copying top players to learn how to play. And I definitely had that in Melee, right? That was my first game, so duh. So that was like my framework for everything for a while. Where in fighting games, there is this energy, and it's an equally good energy, to be fair, of like, don't be scared of the known guy. Like, you're there to beat that guy's ass, whereas the Smash player might be the opposite, like, oh my god, it's that guy. So the VIP rooms, the name is like the extreme of that. However, the main thing that a VIP room is, which, by the way, I really would like this, actually, is a guaranteed place to warm up when you're deep in the bracket. This is actually, I'm one of the people who complain the least about tournaments, and this is something I beg for at tournaments. Imagine playing a technical character or hard character and you can't warm up before a super important match. This happened to me a ton. I had a huge problem with this in like Exert, for example, like Exert Milia. Like I would have to like either go to my room, hope someone has a setup in their room. It's not the same as the things downstairs. These sounds like first world problems, I know, but having a place that you could just, there's guaranteed setups for people who are at a certain portion of the bracket. That's really all it is. I think it's a great idea. You don't even need that many setups extra, I feel like. That's also a Smash idea. I think it's a great idea. So despite Smash tournaments having a bad reputation, they have some great ideas and some that we've already used. And honestly, there's probably more stuff that fighting game tournaments have done after Smash tournaments. Just keep me real. So those are 4 things I think fighting game players get wrong about Smash. You might have noticed these are all community things and not game things, but at least from talking to people, I feel like outside of some people just saying like Smash is easy, like lazily, really, it's like, man, Smash is so easy. I feel like a lot of fighting game players respect Smash, like the idea, like one, it's pretty hard to get into, especially Melee, like because fighting game players, there's a huge community of like really hardcore, only old games are good, or real games fighting game players, and Melee is like the definition of that. Like it falls so perfectly of like the game's developed for a long time, the meta's changed a bunch of times, they keep finding new stuff, they keep the game alive no matter what, they have all these aspects of it, like there's no like comeback mechanics or anything like that. Nothing forced into the game because they can't update the game. You know what I mean? So I never really hear people like come at the game itself from fighting games to Smash. It's always about like the community more than anything else, where I feel like Smash players are always trying to prove to fighting game players that Smash is like a real game, which you guys don't have to do, by the way. You have people like me to be like, yeah, it is a real game, bro. I play both. It's fine. Let me know what you guys think, though. As usual, if you have any questions or comments, definitely feel free to leave in the comment section below. I really actually enjoy doing these. I like talking about both sides, so I have a couple of others, other videos kind of lined up over the next couple of months. Like and subscribe if you guys feel like it. YouTube really likes it when you watch multiple videos, so if you want to do that, please do. And I'll see you next time. Peace out.